is allowed. Like when I migrated from India to US, the moon planet cannot be visited so quickly. It is not possible. Srila Prabhupada disciple accepted his statement. He was giving not simply his opinion, but the verdict of the Vedic scripture. Because he accepted the Vedic authority over modern science, so did his disciples, but not Purushottama. Hare Krishna. So I'm stopping here. And so Hare Krishna devotees, today we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Srinnatham Shakata Krishna Punna Sravana Kirtana Hridi Antasto Hi Abhadrani Vidhunoti Shurit Nashto Praeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Nashtiki. So today we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, and verse 31 and 32. And the heading of this canto, the creative impetus, and the heading of this chapter, Lord Rishabdev's teaching to his sons. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Now, because there are two slokas, and the first one is too long and big, so I'm reading the first one alone, and the second one, the devotees can recite. Hare Krishna. So 5:31, Canto 5, Chapter 5, and verse 31. Oti Shukumaro Poro Chorono Hostalo Vipulo Bhavangsho Golo Bodonadi Abhayava Vinnasha Prakriti Sundar Sabhavasho Sumuko Novo Nolino Dolayo Mano Shishiro Urunayo Tanayano Ruchiraho Sodrisho Shubhogo Kapolo Korno Kantonasho Biguro Smito Bodano Mahotshaveno Puro Bonitanam Monoshi Kusuma Sarashanam Upadodhano Paragavalambamano Kutilo Jotilo Kopisho Kesho Bhurivaro Boduto Molino Nijo Shorireno Graho Grito Ibadrishataha. So I'm reading it only once. Can anybody please read the synonyms, please? I'm sharing the screen.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
I will go for the synonym. Yeah. Uti Shukumaro, very delicate. Koro, hands, chorono, feet. Urasthalo, chest. Bipulo, long. Bahu, arms. Amsho, shoulders. Golo, neck. Bodano, face. Adi, and so on. Abhayava, limbs. Vinnasha, properly situated. Prakriti by nature, Sundara, lovely. Swabhava, natural. Hasho, with smiling. Shumukho, his beautiful mouth. Navo, nolino, dolaya, mano, appearing like the petals of a new lotus flower. Shichiro, taking away all miseries. Taro, the irises. Aruno, reddish. Ayata, spread wide. Noyono, with eyes. Ruchiraha, lovely. Shodrisho, such. Shubhoga, beauty. Kopolo, forehead. Korno, ears. Kanto, neck. Nasho, his nose. Biguro Smita, by deep smiling. Bodano, by his face. Moha Utshaveno, appearing like a festival. Puro Bonitanam, of women within household life. Monosi, in the heart. Kushumo Sharashanam, Cupid. Upododhanoha, awakening. Parak, all around. Obolombo mano, spread. Kutilo curly, jotilo matted. Kopisho brown, kesho of hair. Bhuri bharaha, possessing a great abundance. Avadhuto neglected, molino dirty. Nijo shorireno, by his body. Graha grihito, haunted by a ghost. Eva, as if. Adrishat, he appeared. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So can anyone please read out the translation, please? Okay, in that case, I am reading it. Lord Rishabh's hands, feet, chest were very long. His shoulders, face, and limbs were all very delicate and symmetrically proportioned. His mouth was beautifully decorated with his natural smile, and he appeared all the more lovely with his reddish eyes spread wide like the petals of a newly grown lotus flower covered with a dew in the early morning. The irises of his eyes were so pleasing that they removed all the troubles everyone who saw him. His forehead, ears, neck, nose, and all his other features were very beautiful. His gentle smile always made his face beautiful, so much so that he even attracted the hearts of married women. It was as though they had been pierced by arrows of Cupid. About his head was an abundance of curly, matted brown hair. His hair was disheveled because his body was dirty and not taken care of. He appeared as if he were haunted by a ghost. And the purport by Slopo, although Lord Rishabh's body was very much neglected, his transcendental features were so attractive that even married women were attracted to him. His beauty and dirtiness combined to make his beautiful body appear as though it was haunted by a ghost. Hare Krishna. So I'm going to read the text 32 now. Arhi bhavosho bhagavan lokamimam yogashaddha pratipam iva chakshanas tat pratikriya karma vivatshitamiti vratam ajagaram asthito shayano ivashnoti piboti khadoti avamihoti vadati smo chishtamano uccharito adigdodesho. और ही भावोशो भगवान लोकम इमं जोग श्रद्धा प्रतीपम इवा चक्षानस तत्प्रतिक्रिया कर्म विभत्सितमिति व्रतम आजगरम अस्थितो शयानो एवश्नोति पिबोति खादोति अवमेहोति हदति स्म चिष्टमानो उच्चरितो अदिग्धो देशः तर्हि भावश भगवान् इमं लोकम इमं जोग श्रद्धा प्रतिमं इवा चक्षानस तत्प्रतिक्रिया कर्म विवत्सितमिति व्रतमाजगरम आस्थित शयानो एवश्नोति पिबति खादति अवमेहोति हदति स्म चेष्टमानो उच्चरित आदिग्धोदेश. Hare Krishna. So anybody who wants to recite, please can recite now.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yarhi bhavosho bhagavan lokamimam yogasaddha protipam iva chakshanos tat pratikriya karma vivotsitamiti vratam ajagaram asthitah shayan evasnati piboti khadati avamehati hadati sma cheshtamano uccharita adigdodeshah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please.
Yarhi vavasa bhagavan lokamimam yogashyadha pratipam ivachakshanas tat pratikriya karma vibha sitam iti vratam ajgram garam अस्थितः शयानेवास्नाति विपति खादयाति अवमेहति हदति समा चेष्टामाना उच्चरीत आदिगद्धोदेशः. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anybody else wants to recite?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can I try to?
Or yes, Mataji, please. Continue.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yarhi vavasa bhagavan lokam imam yogasya pratipamim vacham chakshanstat pratikriya karma vibhatsit miti vratam jagar ramastita shan evan shanati pibati khadyavam me heti haditi sma चेष्टमान उच्चरित आदिग्धोदेशः. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you. Anybody else there? Okay, in that case, we can go to the synonyms. Sorry. Can anyone please read the synonyms, please?
I'll try, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
thank you very much. Synonyms by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yarhi Baba, when Sa He, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Lokam, the people in general, Imam, this, Yogasya, to the performance of yoga, Adda, directly, Pratipam, antagonistic, Iva, like Achakshanaha, observe, Tat, of that, Pratikriya, for counteraction, Karma, activity, Vibhatsitam, abominable, Iti, thus, Pratam, the behavior, Ajagaram, of a python, to stay in one place, Astita, accepting, Shayana, lying down, Eva, indeed, Ashnati, eats, Pibati, drinks, Kadati, chews, Avamehati, passes urine, Hadati, Hadati, passes stool, Sma, thus, Cheshtamana, rolling, Ucharite, in the stool and urine, Adikta Uddesha, his body thus smear. Thank you, Prabhu.
Well, thank you, Prabhu. And can anybody wants to read the translation, please?
Yeah, Prabhuji, please.
Yes, please continue, Madhi.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Lord Rishabhadeva saw that the general populace was very antagonistic to his execution of mystic yoga, he accepted the behavior of a python in order to counteract their oppositions. Thus he stayed in one place and lay down. While lying down, he ate and drank, and he passed stool and urine and rolled in it. Indeed, he smeared his whole body with his own stool and urine, so that opposing elements might not come and disturb him. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Madhi. And can anyone please wants to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please.
According to one's destiny, one enjoys allotted happiness and distress, even though one keeps himself in one place. This is the injunction of the Shastras. When one is spiritually situated, he may stay in one place, and all these necessities will be supplied by the arrangement of the Supreme Controller. Unless one is a preacher, there is no need to travel all over the world. A person can stay in one place and execute devotional service suitably according to time and circumstance. When Rishabdev saw that he was simply being disturbed by traveling throughout the world, he decided to lie down in one place like a python. Thus, he ate, drank, and he passed stool and urine and smeared his body with them so that people would not disturb him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namo Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupo Kadamayam Shadam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sita Pada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavangsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahavana Raghunathan Nitham Tam Sajivam Shaddaitam Sabadutam Purijana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahavana Lulita Sri Vishakanitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Bindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Putitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Prabhupadanugami Shvoga Shamini Shoda Danya Shri Shubhagara Sarva Jiva Pipabde Guru Shiksha Salachara Upalapaya Namostute Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Divishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshotarini Namo Mahabodhanaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratise Namo Namo Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pungum Langhayate Girim Jatkipatamaham Bande Pramananda Madham Sri Guru Dinataranam Hare Krishna, everybody, welcome to you all, the devotees in this morning class of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'm not qualified, but still I'm doing this service as I have been instructed to undertake this service. and it also gives me an opportunity to purify myself. So I beg to you all, the devotees here, for your kind mercy. Please bless me so that I can properly glorify Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and contribute anything positive in the mission of Srila Prabhupada and of my Guru Maharaj for preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, brief background of this chapter. We are almost to the close of this chapter. In this chapter, it is very clearly evident from its heading that King Rishabdev is advising his sons very elaborately about the importance of performing devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And in fact, this should be the goal of life for any human being. Lord Rishabdev, or King Rishabdev here, as we already know, he is an incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Sri Krishna, we also know that is transcendental, meaning that he is completely free from all the three modes of material nature in which we are affected. Sattva, Raja, and Tama. These are the three modes of material nature. But Rishabdev is completely free from that. And being an incarnation of the Lord, he is also complete in himself. And he is also called, and Sri Krishna is also called Bhagavan. So he is the Bhagavan also. And he has 6 unlimited opulence in full. And one of the 6 qualities of these unlimited qualities that Bhagavan has is his beauty. And one of them is beauty. And this beauty of the Lord is not limited to physical appearance, like material people appears to be very beautiful, but it is not that. It is transcendental. It is captivating, and it is a reflection of the divine nature of the Lord, his divine nature. His beauty is the source of all beauty and the essence of all loveliness, and the most beautiful form in the cosmic manifestation. And generally, Lord Sri Krishna is shown as a young man with a radiant dark complexion, often compared, his color is compared with the rain clouds, and he has black curly hair and a crown adorned on a peacock feather in his hair, and he is wearing a yellow or orange hip wrapper and flower garland around his neck. His eyes are resembling a lotus flower, petals of a lotus flower, captivating smile, and he has the ability to inspire love and devotion. And Krishna's beauty attracts the devotees. His beauty is the source of all inspiration for the devotees, and is the cause of the universal creation. And Krishna's beauty is unique and unparalleled, and with no beauty in the universe is equal to or better than him. That means, there is a word, it is in the Shastra, it is called Shamurdha. There is no one equal to the Lord, no one is superior to the Lord. So when Krishna has descended as Rishabdev, his transcendental beautiful quality is also manifested in his body, as we find in the description in the first verse. But one thing we must remember, that whenever the Lord appears, no matter whatever form he comes, a devotee can recognize the Lord always. As we have seen, Prahlad Maharaj has no difficulty in recognizing Nrsimhadev as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the devotee has a special relationship with the Lord. And this relationship between the devotee and the Lord is unique, it is different, and it cannot be understood by materialistic people. So, in the first verse that we have read, earlier, this is, I think this is what I have realized, and this is what I have told. Now moving to the next verse, 5:32. In this verse, there is a mention of a word, Ajagor Vritti. Ajagor Vritti is, this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam also, in chapter 11, in Canto 11, chapter 8, verse 2, 3, and this verse, where Jodu, Maharaj Jodu, was once on his palace, and he was looking a mendicant, and he was Dattatreya as a mendicant, and Avadut, he was sitting under a tree, and his face was very beautiful, and the king Jadu asked him, looked at him and found him. His face is so beautiful and he seems to be full of happiness and blissful. So he asked him how he has got this. He had on query to query to Dattatreya. He came to know, he came to know, and Dattatreya told him that he has accepted 24 spiritual masters. And so I'm not going details of that because there are 24 too big numbers. And one of the guru he has accepted, the spiritual master he has accepted, is Ajagor. And Ajagor Vritti is one of the process of Yoga Siddhi. And Ajagor means python. It is already told in the synonyms. It generally, what happens, it generally lies down in one place. I think most of you know also. In one place and eats, passes stool, urine, everything. It doesn't make much effort for getting its food. But when food comes to it automatically, it just eats them. And some pythons are very big and they can eat even big animals like horse. And it doesn't go anywhere, but still Krishna supplies him the food. And in fact, we have examples in our parampara system that sometimes some greatly saintly person will sit down in one place. And if Krishna sends him food, he will eat that food, otherwise he will starve. He simply depends on the Lord. And I'm just asking from the devotees. So Lord Sri Krishna at one place has told he supplies everybody his needs, who is without any other deviation, is always devoted to the Lord, it is connected to the Lord always. Lord supplies him personally. And anybody has any clue for that, please? Which verse I am referring to? It's in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9. Okay, I'm saying it. It is in verse 922. And it is, the verse is like that. Anannos chintayan tomam yejana paryupashate tesham nitta vijuktanam yogakshema bhavamyam. Those who are always worship me, that meaning that this, who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. And in this verse, the second part is chemo, is more important because yoga means Lord supplies him whatever is necessary for anyone. And chemo means they protects him also. This protection is given by the Lord to his devotees. As a devotee, you must always know that Lord is always protecting us from so many material, in the material world is always a place of misery, but the Lord is always protecting his devotees. So the great devotees relies on the statement given by the Supreme Lord to Arjuna that he will supply him the necessary for him. And in our parampara system, I am giving the name of two persons. One is Madhavendra Puri and Billamangal Thakur. They were, and Billamangal Thakur was at the later part of his life, he became blind. Of course, he blinded himself, his eyes. And he was blind, but he was sitting in Vrindavan in one place, and Lord Krishna used to come and supply him milk. For him and similar other devotees like Madhavendra Puri also, he was sitting in a tree, and the Lord Krishna came as a boy and supplied him the milk in the same way. So, in other words, for him and for any other persons who are of such a high elevated souls, for them there is no anxiety for maintenance of the body. Because our Shastra says that don't spoil all your energy or effort for the matter of maintenance of the body only. That is what is forbidden, because it is taken care by the Lord, and one should not, one should not endeavor very hard to maintain his body only. It is settled up by the Lord. In the Vedic, there is an injunction also. It is said that Nitto Nittanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Vidadati Kaman. It is from Katha Upanishad. The Supreme Lord, Nitto Nittanam, means we are also Nitya in one sense because our soul is eternal. So and Nitto is the Lord. Means the Lord is singular and the others are plural. That means of all the Nityanams, all the living beings, Lord is the Vidadati Shokam. He supplies him the necessary maintenance. So Lord is promised us that He maintains us, and these elevated devotees rely on that. And it is our constitution. Our constitutional position is we are part and parcel of the Lord. The Lord as a supreme person, He also maintains us, and He supplies us food for whatever is needed and whatever we require. It is already really settled up only because of our social. We have made a social society in which there is disproportionation and all these things. It is man-made things, but Lord has supplied us the necessary things, because everything Lord has created is perfect. So because He has created us, He has also provided us the necessary things needed for us. Because the society we have created now, we are responsible for that, and the Lord is not responsible for that. In other words, Lord is supplying us the necessary things, and as an elevated devotee understand that, and he therefore does not get any problem while depending on the Lord, because he knows that the Lord will supply him the necessary things. Now, those who are suffering now by the operation, because we have come to this material world, and we must accept the Supreme Personality of God as our controller, and not foolishly give up our faith due to material inconvenience. When we have inconvenience, sometimes we forget that. But the great devotees of the Lord reminding us that the Lord is always supplying, and we should not give up our faith from the Lord just because the situation is materially inconvenient for the moment. And in this material world, there are so many varieties of species of life. By natural law, according to their body, one has to eat, sleep, and make sense gratification and protection. So many varieties of life and many varieties of position. We cannot change their position, but we can. Those who are suffering and innocent, and most of them do not know how to release from this suffering. So we distribute. Sometimes we distribute prasadam. Prabhupada has introduced this system. So we distribute them prasadam to take care of them. Just like a child is suffering, he doesn't know how to get relief. So one should take care. They should be given shelter, they should be given cloth, they should be given food. And it is the duty of the parent. It is natural. So for an innocent, it is our duty to show them our mercy. We give them food, we give them shelter, and also give them instruction on Krishna consciousness, so that one can understand why he is here in this material world and why he is suffering. And this is very important. And this realization of this consciousness is very important for a human being. That must arise on any human being. In fact, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Madhulila, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was approached by Sanatana Goswami in Benares, he asked him this very question. He told that I am being told by other people that I am very knowledgeable, but I do not know who am I. Kene amai jare taptroya. Means 3 types of sufferings are there in this material world. So why I am here? Who am I, and why I am suffering here? Why I have to face all this janma mrityu jara vyadhi? Why I have to face that? That inquiry must start with a human being. And our human energy should be utilized only for that purpose, which was not fulfilled in other lives. In other lives, and subhuman beings cannot make this inquiry, but a human being, any human being can do that. That's why everyone is suffering in this material world, but very few. And these sufferings, what I would say, three types of suffering we've told: Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, and Adidaivika. But actually, why we are suffering, this question, our Krishna conscious movement, Prabhupada has told, we have to tell to the people why they are suffering in this material world. And our duty is to help them. In fact, everybody is suffering in this material world, but very few people understand that they're suffering. They think that by their own effort, they will be able to resolve their problem. And one day they will be happy. But this place is not a place of for uh, for becoming happy here, because you cannot do that. That is the Lord's thing. This place is temporary, but at the same time, there is an opportunity to get rid of this suffering. And we see every people in this material world is suffering. And Prahlad Maharaj, in his has explained this situation as Sada Samudvigno Dhyan Asad Grahad. Why you are suffering? Because we are in this temporary material body, and which is temporary. And within this material world, we are suffering because of our anxieties, because we want to enjoy. Even not only human being, the birds, beasts, and we find they are always in anxiety. Because we have accepted this material body, which is temporary, and therefore the Vedic injunction, our Shastra says that we have to get rid of this temporary situation to an eternal stage. And there is and the exact word is for that. There is a sentence on that. Ashato ma sadgamoy. That means do not stay. It is said that don't stay in this material side. Come to the spiritual existence. Short. And this existence is also is temporary. We should go to a stage where eternal. And Srila Prabhupada says the real civilization is not to keep the people in ignorance. And a civilization means one has to make effort to get out of this ignorance. But in this material, what do we see? That we say that you are making very good advance. There is no, you are making very good advance. Yes, carry on like that, or please keep it on, or something like that. But there is no advancement really unless one understands the spiritual life. Otherwise, we are wandering within life after life, one life after another life. We remain in the cycle of birth and death, and we cannot get rid of it. So this should not be our life. Our life is to regain our spiritual consciousness and revive our spiritual existence. And for this purpose, we must endeavor. So Rishabh here also is trying to, while he was traveling, he was disturbed by other people, and he took up the Ajagar Vritti. But we must understand that and in context to that, we have told the Lord has already arranged for our survival. We should not be too much worried about that. And Krishna has given us the assurance that he will supply he will supply us the next things. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was told that we should tell people who are suffering in this material world, those who are conscious, those who understand the purpose of human life, a devotee who has understood it, he is intelligent, he should distribute that knowledge to others so that those who are suffering, they can understand why they are suffering. And this is the most important part of his preaching program, because to tell others who are suffering. And in fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given very wide instruction to everybody. In the same, wide means in the same for everybody, applicable to everybody. Amar aggai guru hoya taro hi desh, jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. And in Chaitanya Lila and Madhulilas, chapter 7, verse 120, where it says that by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, he is instructing everybody that tell people that who are suffering, tell them about Krishna's instruction to them, so that the obstacles the obstacles they are facing in this life, they can get rid of them. And now in this process of preaching, while preaching to those people, those who are suffering, what should be our motto? Everyone is suffering, and we should. That's why we should move out of our comfort zone, and we should not just sit idly and think that I'm well, so I don't have to do anything. I have understood what I have to do, and I'm chanting, and so I'm with the devotees. But this is not enough. We have to go This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction that we should go out and tell others also what we have learned. It is to be told to them as well. And while in the Krishna conscious movement, a lot of people often has to face a lot of difficulties. As Krishna Rishabh, it is described here that he was disturbed. Similarly, people are also facing disturbance. I mean, sorry, they get disturbed while preaching, and there are instances where sometimes they were beaten up by the police, sometimes by the public, and even jailed, and that happened in Russia and sometimes China also, if I am not wrong. But still, they have not stopped in spite of suffering so much. And Rishabh Dev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he has not really suffered in the sense because he has a transcendental body, he is the Lord himself. But it is an instruction to us that we may have to suffer while suffer, and we have to face tribulations when we try to preach the message of the Lord to other people. And what is the message he is giving us? That in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction in Shikhastaka, he has told us, Trinadopi Shunicheno Tarorivo Shoishnuna Omanina Manodino Kirtanyo Sadahuri. That means we should not think we have a very respectable person. In other words, Omanina. We should not think we have any pride. So if we have pride and all that prevents us from preaching, because we think we are knowledgeable and all that's an obstacle. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling we should think that we have no honor, but on the other hand we have to give honor to the others so that we can do it properly. So others can accept our things by looking at us, how humbly we are doing that. And in fact, to be humble is the most important aspect of preaching. And facing the not only humble, but sometimes we have to suffer also, and we have to tolerate it. Tolerating is also very important. We see the example of Haridas Thakur in our movement. He is called Namacharya, and he was born in a Muslim family, but because he was chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the Kaji gave him severe punishment. He was beaten up in 21 marketplaces, and I told him, why you are, as a Muslim, why you are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? But he told, I like it, but he has to face severe beatings, and we understand what suffering he has to undergo for that. So that happens, and that's why we have to be very much careful while preaching that, and we must know that suffering is there, and we have to protect ourselves from that. Of course, what Rishabh Dev was able to do by doing Ojagopati, we cannot do that. We must remember also at the same time that in this age of Kali Yuga, what Rishabh Dev was able to do, we cannot do that. So one thing we must know for certain, that we have to follow what he has told us. That means we have to tolerate, we have to come out of our comfort zone and try to preach. But just we cannot, what Ajagar Britti, what Bilamangal Thakur has done, or what Madhavendra Puri has done, and it is not possible for us to follow. So we should not just imitate it, but we should follow their instruction so that we are successful in our preaching. And this is a very important aspect we must always remember, that every age has its own challenge, or every place has its own challenge, and we have to accept it. But we should not stop from preaching the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the message of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So, but tribulations will be there, and devotees who are preaching about the Krishna, they often face it. We have seen it, and Prabhupada has told another thing, that whenever a devotee tries to preach, that means he has taken up Krishna consciousness as a part of, as a goal of his life. the Maya is very strong. This is Maya's arrangement. And so the obstacle will always be there, because Maya's arrangement is that he will test us. Neither will test every devotee at every stage. So as soon as he says that the man is going out of his hand, of her hand rather, she will put so many tribulations, and we have to tolerate them as a devotee. And that is why we have to make a plan of our own in every stage, depending on the circumstances and depending on the situation and the time, place, all that. But we cannot stop our kirtan. This is not possible. We should not stop it. We should always learn from the Mahajanas, the great person like Haridas Thakur and others. And there is, of course, a very important, there is a verse, Mahajana ena gata japanta. Mahajana are the great people whom we should follow, but we should not just imitate them, but following their instruction. One thing is very clear, that one has to suffer while preaching, and we have to accept it, that this is not we have to come out of our comfort zone and still go on preaching. And when the great acharyas like Rishabdev is teaching us, in this Kali Yuga also, as I have told, it is not possible. In Kali Yuga, there are so many obstacles. In Kali Yuga, any human being has a lifespan is short, our intelligence is less, and also we are disturbed. We are disturbed. And the verse, I think in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 10. It says, Prayena alpo ayusha shabho kala osmin yuge jana mondo shumondo moteur mondo bhagyo hyupotrika. That means in these people, the people has smaller life, they have they have intelligence, they're intelligent, and they're less intelligent, they're lazy, they're disturbed, and overall they are always disturbed. So these are the obstacles in this age. We have to understand our position, and based on our situation, what is most effective, we should take resort to that, and should not. But we should always come out of our comfort zone and try to preach, and that is the message Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told. And here, the Rishabdev example, these are the things we can take, and in this way advance in our journey to Krishna consciousness. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told another thing, that in this age, present age, the best advantage of this age is that by although there are so many obstacles that I have explained, that people are shorter life, they're disturbed, and they're lazy, and they have less intelligence, all this, and disturbed, but still there is one good side of this Kali Yuga that Parikshit Maharaj has observed. And it was told by Shukdev Goswami to him that Kalair dosho nidhe rajan hiosti eko mohan guno kirtanadevo krishnasya mukta sangho param brajet. That means simply if we try to chant Hare Krishna Mahamatra very sincerely, without any offense, then it is not possible to imitate, or and then we can get the ultimate destination, Param Braja. Param is the ultimate destination. And as I have told also, just repeating, we should not follow our predecessors Mahajanas, but we should not imitate them, but we should follow their instruction, so that we can easily go back to the Godhead by following their instruction. And as recommended in the Shastra, in this present age, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only thing and only vehicle through which we can go back to Godhead. If we follow the instruction for spiritual master and remain in association with the devotees, and the instruction given our spiritual master, we follow them, then we can be sure of going back to Godhead by following their instruction. And we should, once we have are on that path, we should also not forget about others who are around us, who are ignorant about this knowledge. We should go to them and bring them to our fold so that they are also benefited by our knowledge. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told to everybody. So we have a responsibility within us as a member of this ISKCON, and we should not only chant ourselves Hare Krishna Mantra, but try to bring everybody within its fold, within the fold of the ISKCON, so that they can know this transcendental knowledge and then get benefited from them. So with that, I'm concluding. Hare Krishna. If anybody has got any realization, any comments, or any mistakes I've committed, please feel free, and I'll be happy to hear from all of you. And so Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you for explaining this verse in such a elaborate way. There's so many different angles. It's amazing that after instructing his sons, Lord Rishabdev went to this path of like Avdutta, and he faced so many tribulations. And you mentioned that while preaching, we also have these obstruction challenges, and we had to face it with humility. So it's very important. So one of the lessons, at least for me, from this verse is that we just have to go on, as you mentioned, come out of our comfort zone and do our best to enhance the Prabhupada mission. So thank you for making this very important point. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for doing that. Yes, that is a very important thing, that we should not always sit on a comfort zone and at the same time come out. But we must always also remember that I see inspiration from you sometimes, that at so much age you are doing so much activities. We should also remember that we have a responsibility also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that we should go and preach to others to spread this message, because that is what Prabhupada has also tried to do in this present age. People have forgotten, and the civilization, and the present civilization is so much stress on material things that people have forgotten, that they are thinking that they will be able to improve their position by staying the way, and by their own endeavor they can do that. But that has been tried by so many, as Prahlad Maharaj told, these are only repetition of what they have done in previous life, and it will continue if one doesn't make a change in their course, in other words, or come to the Krishna consciousness, spiritual level. Otherwise, the material level, if they do it, it will only continue, and the repetition of the same thing that they have done in the past. And human life is a bit different from what we have done in the past. It is an opportunity at the same time. Hare Krishna.
विश कर लेना उसकी बर्थडे।
Anybody else has any reflection? Please come forward. We still got a few minutes. Prabhu doesn't seem.
So yeah, it appears probably there is no other person. So
in the class.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mancha kalpatarubhyascha
Kripa sindhubhyo
patitam
pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. His Grace Abhay Charan Prabhu ki jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bol.